Hello and welcome back to the Elder Chair Campaign. I'm your host and GM Nineveh, and with me are Kathea and Soinnarios.
Hello, this is Kathea.
And this is Soinnarios.
Awesome. I legitimately don't know what episode this is. I've been fighting with Riverside for a little bit on an earlier episode, and I can't remember. I think it's 40 or 41. One of those.
It'll be okay.
As far as episode number goes. Session's probably a little further behind that. Anyways, moving on. So last session, you guys fought the trolls. You got Hillmill killed. Good work, everyone.
We didn't. You did.
Well, I mean, in a sense, yes, but in other deeper senses, I know who to blame. In any event, yeah, he had a rough time. So you're in the immediate aftermath of this battle. So to kind of reset the scene, because it's been a couple weeks since we played, you are sort of in front of your walls, or at the entry of the wall. You have a shimmering, like, occasionally slightly visible ward of like silvery light enclosing a curving rectangle or arc of the walls. Soinnarios, you are standing in front of a dead great troll. Hillmill is dead beside you. Dirtass is just behind you. Elendor is out just past the wards, having been healed, but still on the ground, hasn't gotten up yet. Kathea, you're kind of in that direction, but further back a little bit because you've seen your elemental forward.
I'd been actually behind the trolls.
Okay, yeah. That's where Elendor was as well. So
yep. So I'm actually right next.
Space. Yes. So you're in that space. That's kind of where everybody is. You have literally just gotten done with this fight. So there's a lot of like you're all like, your blood is up. The battle has just ended. A lot of magic's been thrown around. A lot of power and exertion has been tossed around. We just finished this fight.
Soinnarios, did you heal Elendor?
Yeah.
Okay. That's already happened.
Yeah. I mean, that just happened.
Yeah, it just happened.
We don't even really necessarily know the battle's over.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you just know, we finished that fight. You don't know if the battle's over or not.
So I will say this. The first thing Kathea will do, being full aware in the back of her mind somewhere that Hillmill's laying there messed up and dead. Elendor's like her close cousin, goes and scoops Elendor up, goes and scoops Elendor up, takes them behind the wall, and sits them in a nice, comfortable place. I do realize mechanically Elendor can get up and walk, but...
Right. No, I get you, but concerned. Right. Yeah,
concerned, make sure behind the wall and comforting them. And in the back of her mind, somewhere the whole time, is saying that Hillmill's dead, and his life to being dead starts with us raiding his house way back when we were younger. But also realizing she's kind of let go of that attachment and isn't that as concerned as maybe she should be.
Fair cop. Okay. So, all right. So you bustle Elendor off into a safer location, kind of still on the battlefield, but behind your earth wall, your rampart.
Behind the wall, and find a comfortable place. And the fire elemental's still hovering out there. I'm not letting it go until the time runs out.
I would keep it if I were you. It's not a bad idea. What you find is that go and make scan or battle rolls for me and tell me which one you pick.
Oof.
Do we hurt ourselves rolling the dice?
No, drop it on the laptop.
That's a real life fumble.
I succeed at a scan roll.
Good job.
I fail at a battle roll.
Okay.
I would have made my scan, but oh well.
Alas.
Battle makes more sense, I think, for me.
It does. Soinnarios, what you see just looking around over this next couple minutes is that you occasionally get a couple of trollkins kind of wander into your quarter, and then they kind of scoot back out once they realize that no one, it's like, this side isn't going well. Like, we're just going to go back to the other fight. So, like, they don't make a press and don't need to be scared off anytime you see one creeping. Like, they realize pretty quickly, like, this isn't a place, like, we're not going to reinforce this spot. It's just going to be us. So we'll just go somewhere else. You're trying to look at the rest of the quarters of this circle and kind of figure out what's going on. It's hard to tell. You can see fire in places. Yamelians use fire, right? Not fire spells, but fire.
So do Zorax
Orani. So it's hard for you to tell what's going on. You're not sure if things are going well or not in the other quarters. You're not sure if the battles are still raging or not. You hear some noise that suggests that there's still some fighting going on, but that's kind of where you're at. Well, your battle took a long time, so you wouldn't be surprised if things are dying down.
I figure maybe I'm distracted, so I don't really figure out what's going on.
Yeah, it's just hard. It's hard to tell, and you're not fully focused.
I don't really have anything to add unless Soinnarios.
I will point out the trollkin to Dirtass.
All right, he's got more arrows.
Given the chance, I mean, he's like Dirtas is a Thane. Dirtas is older than you by about 7 years, roughly. So he's like in his late 20s, mid to late 20s. He is like wearing his armor. He's been in fights before, but you can see like his eyes are wide. He's like panting, right? And as soon as you're like, oh, there's a Trollkin over there, he just turns and just leashes a shot at it like immediately. And
I don't.
anytime you see one that gets close enough, he'll take shots at them, but he's not pursuing them. He's just kind of like, they don't need a lot of encouragement to stay back, and he provides more than enough of that encouragement.
And then I'll kind of team with him while we're looking out and pull Hillmill's body and all behind the wall.
Okay, you can do that.
Eventually, I'll get up and I'll start helping too, but I'm probably delayed for a bit.
Makes sense. So over these next few minutes, the sounds of battle die down in other spaces. At one point, both of you will see pretty clearly near the end of this that several of the war trees that are opposite you like get up and move like forwards, and that seems to scatter whatever is left there, and then they return to their places.
So do we do good because we didn't have the war trees have to save us?
Yeah, I mean, anytime the war trees don't have to get involved is good. You are the first layer of defense. The war trees are the second. The elves are like the elves behind you in the circle, whatever they can scrounge together, because most of their attention and power is in the ritual. It would be the last line of defense.
Right.
You are easier to replace than the trees.
If I like this ordering, but oh well.
It's
We're
just how it is.
Sworn to it.
Yeah, you're stuck in it now. What you would gather from that, if one of the quarters moved, they had trouble over there, like real trouble over there. That is the Orlanthe section of the wall.
They're the ones I think opposite of us.
Yes.
Because we have the Yomelians. My picture is them to our left, and to the right was
Yes.
Earth Cultists.
They didn't come back.
They didn't come back. It was another Yomelian group.
The Earth Cultists got to their breaking point.
They had a hard time last time.
Yep. Isn't that the time when Mardina was running around putting fires out with the with a water stick?
Yes.
She did good. I'm proud of her.
But yeah, in any event, you're not sure how it must have gotten bad over there, but you're not sure how bad yet. And you can't really cross the clearing because that's where all the magic is happening. So
yeah,
and it's part of a week-long ritual. It really ties a lot of things up. But you're able to come in and out of it sometimes when the elves let you. That's how you're able to visit the shrine and things. But it seems like, yeah, things kind of calm down. It's still dark out, and you're kind of left at that. It's cold out, right? It's dark season. It's snowy. Yep. Trees are completely denuded of leaves, so you can see all the branches kind of sticking out like little hands and claws and things and whatnot. Like the woods look foreboding to you now, and you're not really, again, like there was a big push. You fought a good number of Trollkin and trolls. But the trolls are the men of the dark. You have no idea if they're still out there or not.
We can still. Don't forget that we do know, but don't forget that we can still see.
You can still see in the dark. Yes,
all
you
night
can
long.
see in the dark, which helps. They're still sneaky.
Yep.
So
I know we noticed that last time.
Had to go through. Yeah, the dark is associated with stealth. And so that's something you've seen several times now when you've actually interacted with trolls, is that they just kind of naturally, like their preferred, like they pick routes just when they're walking around. They try to hug to corners to stay in blind spots. It's just how they move.
Right.
It's just their nature is extremely hungry ambush predators.
Well, I'm sure we stay alert the rest of the night, or at least quite a while here before we start taking either rest breaks or whatever, that we might wait to sleep during the day anyway, since we assume that's a better sleeping time.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so you'll be able to post some watches and things and kind of get moving. Elendor gets back up on their feet. They're fine. The injuries are healed. Obviously, the memory of the injury is still real, right? That's something I think probably is worth considering, is that while you can undo substantial physical traumas pretty quickly, right, which does lessen their psychological impact a little bit, like people have horrible things happen to them in this setting and then have to kind of just shrug it off and keep going.
Yeah.
That has its own cost, but yeah, it's something both your characters have experienced to various degrees as well.
I think we've done a pretty good job of, I feel like we've done a pretty good job of playing through that too, or for secondhand.
Yeah. Like you can undo the damage, but you can't make it not have happened.
Right.
So, and having your leg twisted off at the hip socket is not a pleasant experience for anyone. So, in any event, that's something to be aware of. But overall, yeah, you're able to wait into the day and the next day. You get a couple of like over the rest of the week, you will stay sort of halfway busy. Your defenses are probed a couple of times. One thing that happens the next day is that Harvard sends one of his warriors to talk to you.
Okay.
He mentions to you that as the Orlanthi have been wiped out, there's nobody on that side.
I was
Oh,
gonna
God.
say the next day I would probably, since I've got
Right.
a ready mount here, would probably circumnavigate
Right.
the area and look at it too.
Yeah, it's the carnage is pretty substantial. There are a lot of dead trolls and trollkin over there.
Yep.
There are a lot of dead. The entire group of humans has been killed. It looks like the war trees moved to kind of mop up what was left once the humans were gone, and they were able to do so. But it looks like the Orlanthi sold themselves well, but they lost pretty definitively. So Harvard's concern is that he's going to thin his side out, and he wants the gold wall or gold wall Yamelians do the same. And so you're gonna be given a little more territory to watch on either side. So you're gonna thin out into thirds.
Okay. We'll do that. That makes perfect sense. Spread our line out with our 4 people.
Hooray.
Yep. They've got some gaps showing too. You're not sure if Harbor's group lost anyone, but you know the gold wall contingent lost one person, has another person like in a pretty bad way. They got hurt beyond what they have rune points left to heal.
Would I be able to help that with spirit healing or not? Or
it's more that they're missing pieces.
okay.
And they can't stick them back on well now.
It's been too long to do like a heal.
Not just too long, but because one of the great trolls ate an arm, so like tore it off and shoved it down his maw. So
that'll do it.
Yeah, it's gone. The arm is gone. You could fix it with the regrow limb or a heal body, but outside of that, no. Like,
sorry,
I can't do those. So that's definitely Soinnarios territory.
Yeah, it's tough. So everyone struggled in this fight more so than they have in the past. It's not just you who the fights are getting harder for. It's everyone. So those Orlanthi, by the way, are the ones that you guys vouched for to go to the Earthshaker temple at Carafen. So you knew them.
Yep, they've been here
but you knew them.
Haven't they been here? Have they been here every year with? They weren't here every year with us though.
No, they didn't come the first time, and they didn't come. No, they came last time, I think. They're here a couple of times.
Wow, these elves may not be able to recruit enough suckers to cover this.
It's a growing concern.
That's an appropriate statement for the elves.
Right. But yeah, so that's kind of what happens. Like I said, the next few days, like you guys thin out your lines, so everybody has to guard a little more wall. You do get your defenses like tested a couple times, but mostly by Trollkin, right? They roll up and throw some stones at you and things. But
Dirtass takes them out.
Dirtass shoots at them, you shoot at them. Whoever in the Amelian parties have bows, they take shots. They're being pretty careful. You guys can't continue seeing at night for the rest of the week.
Right.
So it gets harder, right? But it's not serious, right? Like they are looking for weak points, they're not finding them. You'll roll a battle roll for me. Anyone who wants to can roll a battle roll. Your night for battle rolls.
Nope.
Success.
Nice.
Good job, Sonars. I guess I'm just shaken from the whole thing, even though I'm trying to pretend I'm not.
Right. Okay. Soinnarios, what's your actual battle score, just so I can flavor this appropriately?
Raw is 12. Total is 22.
Oh wow. Okay.
I suck.
No, I didn't realize it was low like that. But
battle's more my thing. I used to have a 66.
Sure. Yeah.
I rolled an 88.
Right. Soinnarios, you're not very good at battle. You're good at fighting. You're not very good at war, right? But your impression over the next couple of days is that they must have thrown the bulk of what they have at you, and they've lost it. So they're trying to figure out if you're soft enough that they can break through somewhere, and they don't think you are.
Well, if that's the impression I get, I better knock on wood.
Right. Millennials.
We have plenty of that around here.
Yeah. Both, really.
That's true.
But
I was thinking the wood, but yeah.
Right. Anyways, yeah, that's what you think, and that seems to be true, right? Like they're testing your positions. They're seeing, do you respond quickly? How many people pop up? Are there any weaknesses where you're not covering well enough? the conclusion over the course of the week is that no, there are enough of you, you're paying enough attention that they can't, whatever they have left, they can't get past you, so they don't try again. But it is kind of a sucky week. Of note, the elves are well aware that Hillmill cannot be resurrected, so they do not offer you the use of the temple.
We also don't really need it since it's dark season out, so
Right,
it's not
yes.
like he's going to get smelly.
He freezes over the next couple of days. He gets quite bored-like. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about loot and things. This is something that you can do during the week. You have some time where you're guarding the walls and things, but you're not actually, the elves haven't come up and talked to you yet because it's clearly not like over until the end of the week once the ritual is passed and the trolls back off, because they can't, once the ritual is over, they can't win. They can't intervene with the ritual. So you're able to loot a lot of the trolls and troll cannon things that you right between coinage that they're carrying, mostly lunars, a few wheels. We're going to discard any bulgs because they're worthless.
Thank you.
Bulgs are completely worthless, and I'm not counting them. So for any listeners who don't know, a bulg is a troll coin that is worth 1/10 of a penny. It's not worth much. It's just a little chunk of lead.
They were used as sling stones.
Yes, that seems unlikely to me.
Yeah, but I like.
It's part of the fiction, right? It's something that's said in some of the early books, but it's like there's no way that much lead is worth that little. Even looking at the encumbrance rules for like ingots and things, it doesn't line up. But it's cool. In any event, between the money and then they're wearing some items, right? Some bronze armbands and torques and things like that, rings that you can take that are worth some money. They're interesting, right? Trollish crafts and arts are often pretty crude. These are actually pretty nice, which roll local lore, roll Tarsh lore for me.
They're gonna have us roll troll lore.
Nah, you don't have that, but this is adjacent enough that you can roll your local lore for it.
My homeland.
Yeah.
I make that. Yay!
Good.
Do I get a check in that?
Yeah.
My local lore, homeland lore, is still pretty poor. I guess we haven't rolled it much or used it much.
We haven't used it a lot, and you probably haven't trained it much either. You're both pretty close to each other on it. Soinnarios, how'd you do?
Success.
Okay, I heard you cheer, and I wasn't sure if it was for Kathea's roll or your own.
So. Yeah, I thought maybe it was for me. My first success of the night.
All right, cool. So you both know, you're both able to tell, maybe because of your time in Crabtown, these nicer goods, these well-worked goods that look more refined and finished, right, rather than just kind of chewed or bashed into shape, you would typically associate those with like Degori Inkar. So you would associate those with like the Crag Spider and her Dominion. The Crag Spider being a rather famous demigoddess of the trolls.
That's probably where they're from.
Probably, yeah. So, but there are some nicer bands. They have they have bug themes a lot of times. So like not necessarily insects, but centipedes, like an armband that's like shaped like a centipede and has lots of little legs like filigree into it, or a ring that has a beetle motif, things like that. But they're well done, so they're actually valuable. And so those are lootable. So between those sorts of things and the actual coinage that they're carrying, just as people who use coins, you're able to secure about 350 lunars worth of stuff, right? Mostly money, but also the jewelry. The jewelry is resellable pretty easily. You can also wear it around.
Good. I don't want bug themed stuff, really.
Like bug stuff.
Any cool magic items?
No, honestly, they don't have a lot of cool magic stuff. What they have are like foci, which aren't actually useful for you. You also get a couple of lead items that you can take for trophies and things that are worth a little money. That would lead into that. But that's part of that 350 lunars. So that's the bulk of it. You would know from, and this is more on the other side of things. Hillmill does have nice things, right? Yeah. Your understanding of your own culture, you don't have to roll for like your own lore and stuff on this. Customs, that's not necessary. I'm gonna let you guys put a check in your customs because you're gonna be interacting with pieces of your culture that you don't usually interact with. So go ahead and check your Tarsh customs, but
we're not looting his body.
Right. You don't want to loot his body. You would want to return him to the Humak Temple at all church.
Plans. I have several plans regarding this already.
That's fine. I'm just kind of, that's cool. I just want to make that clear. Like, don't steal stuff off of him. You also know that you would want to give him, like, his share of the money should still be attached to him, right?
Yeah.
So you would give it to the temple. So that would be his 30 lunars of guaranteed money plus whatever you would pay someone out.
Yep.
So however you do your distributions, it's everything past that 30 is like his pay, right? So that's non-negotiable. You do have a lot of discretion over how you distribute loot. You don't have to pay any more than that 30. Being generous would be looked on well in the temple. Being stingy would be looked on poorly by the Temple of Humoct. Being in the middle would be more neutral. So that's up to you. You have those choices to make. But the other thing that comes up, though, is that for the more vulturous amongst us, the more scavengy, the Orlanth party got wiped out. They're all dead. They are outlaws attached to the Earthshaker Temple.
Yeah. How far are we from the Earthshaker Temple?
Okay, so go to the wiki. Go down to the map, all right? So you are
I should have done that
currently...
before I asked.
No, it's fine.
It's not on there. Oh, I see Carol
Yeah, it
Finn,
is.
actually.
Yeah,
Oh,
Carofin, the symbol
Yeah.
of a mountain, that's Wintertop.
I'm gonna vote if Soinnarios is okay with this. I'm probably gonna vote. They've fought valiantly here, and we talked before. I'd think rather than looting them, we should probably return their stuff there.
Okay.
What do you think? Well, I want to ask. Hold it, as my fellow player, part of me wants to be vulturous and take their stuff for our players,
Right,
but
right.
from a mechanical point of view, I kind of feel like I wouldn't.
I got mouse feed. I'm poor.
You're
No,
not
you're not.
poor.
You're very wealthy. You just spend all your wealth on being wealthy. After I buy that second summer home, there's not a lot of money to go around.
I have 2 horses
I only have one horse.
and a unicorn.
Well, yeah, but I don't really have the unicorn. He's just my friend.
He's not loot, he's a companion.
Yeah.
No, it's probably good to.
Well, let me ask, since we're doing culture checks,
Yeah.
that seems like the right thing for us to do.
It would be honorable, right? It's not necessarily necessary. Because they're outlaws, because you're not returning them to like their clan necessarily or family, there's more wiggle room there. But taking them back to the temple that was employing them, that they lived at, taking them back to Wintertop would be good. Like, it would be like something that people think well about, but it's not required. It would be above and beyond, I would say.
I'm going to do it, unless Soinnarios. I know I'm the battle unit, but this is 2-player characters, because honestly, there's probably cool stuff there we could use mechanically.
I think we would be following our clan values if we maybe looted them. No, because we're shrewd and ambitious.
True, but not greedy necessarily. But
Okay.
yes, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I understand what you're saying.
Like, if
You
it's
could
just a
definitely
bunch
make
of,
that argument.
like, if it's
Here's
just
a
a bunch of
question.
money, then, but
What do they have on them?
Okay, is that gonna? That's gonna.
That
gonna
way,
sway you somewhat.
no. This is more for Soinnarios, because I
Right.
was willing to take, but then I needed.
Also, even a brief conversation with Harver reveals that, like, he will tell you flat out, like, there's not a Yamelian here who's going to take them back to Wintertop.
No, I knew it would fall on me.
Well, they're just like, we don't want to go to the Earthshaker Temple.
I know.
Yeah, actually, Soinnarios may not want to go to Earthshaker Temple either.
Nah,
No, I will.
she's in good with Ronaldo. It's fine.
So,
Okay, so their loot again. They were like bandits and outlaws, right?
yeah.
They've obviously done okay. They largely have a mix of like metal, textile, leather, armor, right? Midweight, similar to what your lighter armor characters are wearing, right? They have swords, axes, spears, bows, javelins, things like that. It's almost beneath your guys' at the level you're playing at. You could easily, without really anyone noticing or caring, restock your arrows and javelins out of their excess here.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be considered odd.
No,
or,
that part
like-
I'm not concerned about. I'm more concerned with
Right. Beyond that, you would have to. None of them are wearing like obvious flashy magical items, so you would have to like riffle through their stuff to figure out if they have anything cool.
I don't feel comfortable doing that, honestly. I kind of feel like we should take them back there and return them so they can have whatever honorable burial they can there. And I know they were outlaws, but they were here in the same place we're doing and performing the same ritual, and they were part of it, and they gave up their lives for it.
No, I feel you. That's very ideological, pure, right? But the Earth is pragmatic.
So, Soinnarios, you can give me your argument, or for that matter, since they're with the Earthshaker, if you want to even overrule me and do it, that's fine too. That's just where I feel like Kathea would be. But she's also distracted by a lot of other stuff. So, you got detect magic on you?
No.
Yes, I have removed the easy answers from the party here. Martina's not with you.
I'll do a quick rifle.
Okay. You will roll a search for me.
Ooh, success.
Dang.
Yes.
You're blessed today.
I'm not doing it, but I'm actually just curious. I would have succeeded, and I would have gotten a skill check. But
There you go. Go ahead and put a check in search.
I
Soinnarios.
did.
Nice. And okay, so like looking through their stuff quickly, right? So you're making probably looking at just like opening up a coin purse or something like that, right? Just looking over their bodies, but not really making a real thorough like
necklace, wrist, ring.
yeah, stuff like that. A couple of them one of them has a crystal, another one has a crystal. You don't know if they're powered crystals, unpowered crystals, what, but they've got a couple of them between them. So they're obviously magical, right? They're obviously the sort of they're the God's blood type crystals. Most God's blood crystals. This is sort of meta, right? Like you guys would know this. The MP crystals are crystals made out of God's blood. That's what they're thought to be, is like drops of blood that have crystallized from the God's war. And so sometimes they're evil and chaotic, right? Sometimes you pick up a drop of blood from a chaos god and it gives you a chaos feature or chaos taints you or something. And sometimes most of the time the blood has lost all of its divine energy, and so it's just a matrix. You can pump some power into it and use it like as magic point storage. Sometimes they're alive still. They still have a connection to a living god, right? And so they can do things like increase the power of a spell or increase the distance of a spell that you cast or do something like that. But you can't tell just by looking at them what they do. There is a way to figure that out, but you would have to take them and spend some time with them and try to attune them.
Okay.
If they're dead, so if they're blood from a dead god, when you try to attune it, you'll just push a magic point into it and then you'll know it's storage. And if it's not, you'll attune it and then you'll figure out what it does shortly after that.
Does that cost a magic point or a power?
It costs a magic point to test it. I don't know. I don't think it takes a magic point to attune an item, but you can only have one thing attuned. You can have as many magic point crystals as you want. They're not attuned. You can just collect them.
Yeah.
Like Pokemon or coins. You can only have one powered attuned crystal.
Okay.
Let me double check, because it is important to know if it costs power or not to attune them. So let me double check that.
The unpowered ones are also the ones you can use as a. That's what I have my elemental bound in. So that hint.
Right.
There.
Let's look through powered crystals. Tuning a power crystal. Okay, it takes a week to attune a power crystal. You have to overcome its magic resistance. You roll on a table to determine how much power you lose if you fail. If you succeed, you get a power gain check.
I'd be willing to risk one, but you'd have to bring it up to me and maybe not tell me where
you don't have to figure out what you can't right now attune this crystal. You're gonna have to leave before a week is up.
Yep.
So you can take them. I'm not going to stop you.
You can just wrap them up in something. Just don't stare into them and look in the burning eye.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Pocket.
Okay. So you steal their magic stuff. You're like, whoops.
I keep them useful.
Right. We will call this a delivery fee, right? So
I think that's perfectly fair, but
it's reasonable.
Yep.
The other thing that kind of comes up, which you can consider, is that the elves are still going to pay them, so they'll get that portion of the loot, right? It'll be left with their bodies. There are dead trolls and stuff here too, right? Scattered around this part of the battlefield.
Yep. I'd have no problem riffling through those and see if there's anything.
Right. Okay. Once you guys start doing that, whoever you send to do that, basically, because you're kind of all still watching the walls and stuff. Once that happens, you'll get some competition from the other Yomelians, so you'll be able to pick up roughly a third of the loot there.
Okay.
So you get about 100 lunars worth of stuff instead of additional troll loot.
Yep. No magic items there. Somebody have a
No, they're
ramp?
basically the same as what you guys fought. There's some lead, some armbands and things, and some coinage, and it's just a mix of those three things.
I will make it clear the Amelians when we're picking up the Orlanthe that I'm gonna take them back to Wintertop. I don't actually know if my cousin's going with me, but I assume she's welcome. This might be being real exciting. Not really.
No, he's probably Marangor or Beastergor, and they are kicking a dude into the dark caverns below. So I don't think he's coming back from that.
Yeah, it's probably not the most wholesome place, but it is associated with. Like I
It
said,
has a small temple to Ronaldo attached to it. It has shrines and things for all of the Earth goddesses, but it is dedicated to Marangor. And also Soralator, which this is stuff you know. Soralator is the goddess of Soinnarios. You would know this better than Kathea because of your Earth cult connections. So Carofen is a goddess. She's the goddess who gave birth to Orlanth, right? She's Orlanth's mom. At her foot is the temple of the Earthshaker priestesses, which is dedicated to Marangor. It's also dedicated to Soralator. Soralator is, you think, an incarnation of Carofen. She is the woman that Aram the Pauper wooed to found the Tarshite dynasty. His children were the Earthshaker twins, right? She is also, you know this, when a king of Tarsh, a prince of Tarsh, or a prince of Sarder become king of Dragon Pass, it's because the feathered horse queen from the Grayslands that they marry has incarnated Soralator. So she is kind of bound up in the sovereignty of Dragon Pass. She is also bound up in human sacrifice. You have no idea, like you've never worshipped her. She's not a subcult or an associate deity at the Arnalda Temple. She isn't, and that's true for all of the Arnalda temples in the Far Place. You have no like ritual contact with her. You don't know much about her. You just know what you would have absorbed from like stories and things over your childhood.
Is she kind of unique to Sartar then, and not to Tarsh?
Sarder and Tarsh. Aram the Pauper, who is the first king of Tarsh, he wooed her. That's part of the founder cycle, and that his children were the Earthshaker twins who like fought the Lunars at the Battle of Falling Hills and like drew out most of Tarsh's modern borders. Sarder wooed her and married her and became the first like king of Dragon Pass. But both sides do that from time to time. Like Tarsh and Sarder can both vie for that title.
Okay. Hey, maybe we could, while we're there, find somebody to come back with us next year. Cover the other side. I mean, that's the elves' job to do, but still.
Yes. They have contacts, but yeah, things to think about. Anyways, as the week, so you do that looting. At the end of the week, the elves will pay you the money that was promised to you. So you get the money for like swearing the loyalty oaths and secrecy oaths. You get the money for doing the actual battle. They give you a bead and a pouch for Hillmill, so he can at least be interred as a friend of the elves.
I don't remember how much we get from them.
It's like it totals out to 250. There's 5 of you, yeah.
250 between all of us. I'm gonna write down the whole from them because but I'm writing it separate and we split that.
The minimum here is like the money promised to each warrior plus the 10 for like swearing secrecy is 30.
Okay.
A piece, and then what's left, the other chunk of it is basically your pay to distribute as you want.
Okay, I just wrote down 250.
That's cool. So yeah, so total between the loot from your trolls, the loot from the other trolls, and the pay, it's a total of 700 lunars worth of stuff.
Yep,
which is a lot of money.
Yep,
but it's just money. You did manage to steal a couple of crystals from the bodies of your fallen comrades.
What? Who did
so that's
that?
pretty cool. Yeah, I know, right?
And Soinnarios, are you gonna let me know later, or is that something you're gonna keep from me? And I'm not gonna hold against you as a person if you do that
later.
But you can, later, but because I'll have suggestions on that in character. I would also have them out of character, but
right.
We'll deal with that later.
Once it's too late to fix it, then she'll tell you. Makes sense.
Well, she has them. She has every right to do what she wants with them. I have
Absolutely.
a suggestion for them to go to an NPC.
Right. Okay, next thing. Again, the elves, Pinnacure, will thank you for coming once again. He recognizes that you've come several times and that you've suffered losses doing so. Your friendship, he tells you, like, your friendship won't be forgotten in the coming years. He offers to let anybody who wants to stay, right, to learn elven magics or elven training. You're all welcome to do that. If any of you haven't become lay members, you have that chance again to Eldraya. You don't have to, but it's on offer.
Nope.
One thing he tells you, one thing that will be different now for your group and for Harvard's group, because you both come every time, is that you've earned a level of trust, and so they'll show you how to leave.
Okay.
So you're no longer being like walk through steps and like led around in circles and blindfolded and things. Though it quickly becomes apparent to you that like we look at our map again, since we already directed you there. So the Stinking Forest is a whole range of trees from like the Ivory Plains and the Troll Ruins down to Snakepipe Hollow.
Yep.
Essentially, there are these two ridges.
Yep.
Okay, behind that ridge, those two ridges, so further north, that little hex that has like a whole pine tree in it.
That's sort of centered on them.
Yep, that whole hex is now full of pine trees. Spreading out. It's no longer
Yay.
particularly easy to hide this from people who know what's going on. So, but that's where that is.
So, no, that's great. I don't think I have anything else to do. I mean, I'll be interested in doing part of the worship because will remain a lay member of the cult and invested in it. I think we've determined is when that would be practical for me to come and initiate, probably. But
probably not.
That's fine.
But yeah, but you can definitely stay a lay member. You can go through that. You can check your worship and lore, like your Eldraya lore.
Can I also do my worship Eldraya, or do we actually do a worship ceremony out of it?
You would do your worship, check your worship Eldraya, check your Eldrami, like your Eldraya lore, and both of you can check your Elder Race lore and your Elven Insight.
Yay.
Just because you're spending more time around elves. Like you spend the week around, you're watching them do rituals. They send runners to talk to you occasionally to make sure things are okay. But then after the ritual is done, you have a couple days where you're still around and doing things. So you're getting more accustomed to elves.
And they're getting more accustomed to us.
Yeah.
Especially our blood. So we heading out?
I suppose so. If there's something else you guys want to do, you can leave. Yep. Where are you going from here?
Well, that was my first question. Okay. Where is Hillmills? Where would be the temple that we're taking him to?
Auditure.
Then I suggest, Soinnarios, we head to Auditure, deliver him, and then from Auditure take the path to Carol Finn. And again...
Okay, I'm going to interject here.
Yes.
Are you sure you want to go to the foothills of Carol Finn in dark season?
Why would I not want to?
Because it's winter in the mountains.
I mean, we could wait to storm season if that's better. I guess we have these bodies to deliver.
Right.
I mean, what's our options?
I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just mentioning.
I don't feel like I have an option.
Okay.
Like I said, I was going to do it, and I'm going to do it. Yeah, it might not be smart, but I'm doing it.
That's fine. I just want you to know that there'll probably be some environmental difficulties related to getting up there.
Well, I'm assuming there's something at the foothills or base of it. I don't have to go all the way up in the mountains. But
that might be true.
I'll find out because I don't know. I've never been there.
Right. All right. Cool.
So I would say Soinnarios, does that make sense? Go down to Auditure first. Maybe the good thing is it is dark season, so nobody's sitting here like, I mean, they're dead and they're not decomposing.
Right. No, I guess
we'll go through Glass Wall, but I assume nothing exciting happens there, and then go down.
I mean, your trip will be relatively quiet, right? Like you're riding with Harvard's group, your group. Nothing much is going to bother.
Did Harvard lose anybody?
Now that you're out of there, you can see that the answer to that question is no.
Okay.
Harvard did not lose anybody. Several people were hurt. They ran out of from having watched their camp and stuff, like, and just talking to them. Like some of them were hurt badly enough that it took them a while to fix everything.
Right.
Like they had to regain magic points and stuff, but they were able to do so. So by the time they leave, everybody is in fighting trim. But there was definitely a moment there where they were like, it's going to take us a couple of days.
Okay. Soinnarios, are you okay with my headstrong idea of taking everybody back?
All the sure, yes.
Okay.
I'm having doubts on Carol Finn.
Soinnarios, you don't have to go.
We can talk about it once we get to the Auditure. Hillmill definitely has to be delivered, and I don't think anybody else in the group. I don't want to cut you out, Soinnarios. If you want to be there, you can be there, but I don't feel like anybody else in the group has to be there because, well, I'm responsible for him. So
But we'll do a few days of journey here. You guys are moving. It's colder. It's a little harder to move. So it takes you a little longer. You're also not rushing like you were last year.
Right.
So it takes several days, but you eventually end up back in Aldichur, which is cool. So you're in Harbor's group, ride in. He actually separates from you before you return.
He doesn't want to arrive with us and soil himself by being with us.
All the
No,
bodies.
but his group is all alive, and one of yours died. So if he rides in all by himself, he looks more victorious than if he doesn't. I'm so glad you guys are noticing.
I don't like him very much. He's competent, so I don't mind him being on the side, but I also don't like him.
I love Harper. He's great.
See, you're a GMPC.
No, Margina's my GMPC.
I know.
Well,
Just say,
we've
I'm
talked
getting
about it.
ready to meet your GMPC here. Since I assume she's an outer.
Yeah, it is where she is, but I wasn't planning anything with her unless you guys want something from her.
No, but I mean, she's our friend, so we'll stop by and talk to her.
Absolutely.
We'll have tea.
So you'll ride into Aldichur. You're met, like people meet you at the gates. They take note of the body that's with you. Like people know, like they recognize you somewhat, right? Like you're reasonably famous in your tribe. Some people know who you are. One of you is riding a unicorn. Like these are like you all have magical items. These are the sorts of things that stand out, right? You're wearing elven things as well. Like you're becoming more noticeable. Whether or not they know who you are, they can tell you're someone important. So that's something that happens. So some people like see you coming, right? They like people are kind of watching, like you get not crowds, but people, right? Like kind of following along for a little bit or asking what happened or hailing you as you ride through. We're going to use the map that's in Dragon Pass now for Aldichur. It won't change much because we haven't really spent much time in Aldichur, but basically Aldichur has the city's built alongside the river, and the only thing that the Dragon Pass book adds that is important that we haven't talked about is that there is a big volcano not that far from the city.
Oh, I didn't
know that either. So, but somehow it's always been there. It may not have always been there last Tuesday, but it's always there now. So, yeah, there's an extinct volcano out here. Actually, the landscape, the hills west of Glasswall are relatively recent. Like they were made. Geologically recent, right? So they're still old, but they were made by the volcano. But in any event, there is an extinct cone volcano a few miles outside of Aldichur. I didn't know that, so I've never described it before, but it's there.
I say it's not in the map either.
It's not on this map. It is in the Dragon Pass maps. Also, if you take the Dragon Pass maps, if you look at the panorama that looks out from the Quivinia Mountains all the way out to like St. Hollow and stuff, if you want to line it up with the Aldichur map that they have in the Farplace section, you need to turn the Farplace map about 45 to get them to line up with one another. So just be aware, like, because I was struggling with that when I was looking at them both earlier. I was like, why is this not making sense? I was flipping back and forth. I was like, I think I have to tilt this map. So, but in any event, so the city is built, like it has its like glass walls, glass block walls, like on one side of the river. Kind of in the center of the city, there is a rise. There's like a low hill that forms the center half of the city. So there's like an inner and outer ring, basically. This isn't walled. It's just that the rest of the city is on flat ground at the foot of this hill. And the upper level is where like the council would meet for your tribes, right? Because Aldichur is the center of the Confederation. It's where the mayoral offices would be. It's also where most of the temples are. So Humok's temple would be up here. And I'll get a picture. I don't have the PDF for Dragon Pass, so I'll have to get a picture up somehow.
I think I have access to it. I don't have it on my computer right now, but I can.
No worries.
I have
I just bought the book, so
I have the map open in front of me.
Okay, cool.
Though this one doesn't show this is just the map of the city. Like, I haven't found the volcano yet, but I will.
Okay, cool. It's there. They describe it.
Oh, the Lunars are at least on the other side of the river properly.
They're on the other side of the river now. They're attached. Barrack is like on the other side of the river. It's still on the city's in the city's grounds, but it's not on the city walls. So think of the Servian walls versus the actual like boundaries of the city for Rome. Like, that sounds weird to say, but there's a sacred line around Rome where you can't bring your armies or where different rules apply for the citizens. So, and it's bigger than the actual city. So something similar there. But in any event, that's kind of what's going on there. So you would be able to approach the Temple of Humok. It is a fairly plain building, right? It is marked by runes of death and truth. It has like a large banner with a sword, like
Yep.
hanging over like the main entrance. Right, it is a fort. Like it is a reasonably fortified looking building that has all the markings of Humok on it.
Right.
And it has some initiates at the front of the front door of that
Okay.
gate.
Well, I mean, it's actually close enough to the entrance. We'll go right by it. So
Yeah.
we might as well do it. So we bring Hillmill on his horse there with all of his equipment and let him know that he fought bravely but died in battle. Tell him what happened. I will hand over the 50 lunars. That would be his due. And the bead and the pouch. Marks him as an elf friend. And all of his equipment that he came with. And all of his money he had on his person when he came to us.
Okay, makes sense.
Does that seem okay, Soinnarios? So I just spoke up, so I don't want to feel guilty.
There are 2 initiates there, like 2,
Okay.
not swords, but whatever they call their initiates. And one of them will like take the horse, like take his reins and like lead the horse aside, look over everything real quick to make sure that everything, like just, okay, yeah, this really is Hillmill. This is his stuff. Okay, the other one, listen, like you tell his story, he listens to you. You give him the bead and the pouch and the money, right? And he sort of nods at you, and he's looked at the body briefly, but he says, "I knew Hillmill before he left, and judging by the looks of you, I think I know who you are too."
I stand out and I said, okay.
It's an odd end, but
It's an unfortunate end.
yeah, but there's an end for all of us, and we don't get to choose its circumstances.
I so badly want to say he just had a really bad run of luck. But that's such a meta comment. I just say it's unfortunate. I took him with us, and I intended for him to come back with us, and for him to hopefully accompany us next year while we complete this very important task.
He gives you another nod, and he said, "Death comes for us all."
Yeah, these guys are getting me down, so. Bunch of humorless Humok.
Well, he knows you and Hillmill's history. Hillmill's told him about it.
Yeah.
So he's like,
oh, I'm going to actually go ahead and ask him then. He might know. Or maybe I knew already. Does Hillmill have, like, ex-wife and other kids and stuff back in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, his you would know. You would probably be able to figure that out. His marriage fell apart with the death of his son, but it made a distance between them that was not fixable. That's part of it. And so they divorced. He joined Humok.
Boy, I just wrecked that whole family.
You did. You truly did.
I mean, Soinnarios was there too and helped some, but
Soinnarios actually fought him. Like she kicked his door in and fought him hand to hand. But you did all the killing. So
I'd just gotten over all that and let it go, and now here it's back.
Out of character.
No, that was in character. That was part of what I had to let go in order to complete my quest for the
for a star.
S-Star. Yeah, was to let go of my how wrapped up I'd been in killing somebody in battle, and how wrapped up I was in having your brother die when I led him to battle, and accept that as a battle leader, people were going to die at my hand, and people were going to die that were under me. And right now she's kind of like, well, this is really like rubbing it in my face that I have to deal with this.
So yeah, mythically, in order to gain an icon of life, you had to reconcile yourself to death, because I'm like good at my job and stuff. But
I think I told you before, I've really enjoyed this character, and one of it is that she's a warrior and a great warrior, but she's really struggled with it. I hope that's come out. And I've actually
killing people sucks.
Well, but I mean, sometimes in an RPG, it's really easy just to go, yeah, I kill people, and that's what I'm all about.
Right. No, I get you. No, so that's cool. So yeah, you'll kind of finish up that exchange. They're not interested in lingering too long.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Yeah, they'll take his effects. They'll hear his whatever parting comments you have about how he died or what he was doing, and then they'll move on from that.
I mean, I'll do whatever I can to honor him. He deserves that. And I think the 50 lunars, which is the fifth of what? I can give him add in any of the loot. Should I have done that, Soinnarios? Actually, I'm not, because I'm going to deliver it to his ex and family, not directly. I'll take my share if you want to be greedy about it.
We're good. It makes sense.
But it also makes sense that you wouldn't want to do that. Because it's like, huh?
The real problem that Soinnarios is facing is that if she becomes a god talker next year, her expenses double.
Okay. We can work that out.
All right, so
One down.
right, those bodies are delivered. You will probably stay the day in Aldature to kind of figure out what you're doing. I would like you guys at this point to split up the rest of the loot so that way we
Okay.
can get that dead and buried. No pun intended. But
Okay, so we'll each get. I'm not. We can add this in. We'll each get 50. This is what the elves paid us.
Right.
And then we have 450 from loot. And I have a question for you, Soinnarios. This might be a meta question. Since you have the 2 magic items, are you going to bring those up so that figures into how we're splitting loot or not? You do not have to. I'm asking.
No, I will now. I just want to get away from everybody else.
Yeah.
But also part of it depends on what they are.
Should we don't really want to spend
Mardina.
extra time here. What?
Mardina.
Yeah, can Mardina identify those?
yeah, probably. Give me a second here. I gotta find your character sheet. So just so you know, the reason this party got wiped and the reason that you have access to this loot and stuff and all this nonsense that's spilling out from it, like maybe we'll go to the Earthshaker Temple, is just because I rolled battle checks to see how each side did and they failed theirs pretty bad.
Yeah.
So
basically the same thing that doomed Hillmill is you rolling bad for them.
yeah. Just when you fumble a battle check to see how your quarter does, like it's like, oh, party wipe, cool, you're all dead.
I mean, fair enough. I just feel an obligation to deliver them back. I know you think it's stupid, but
I don't think it's stupid.
yes, you do.
No, I think it's fine. You can do whatever you want. I just wanted you to know that your character would know that trying to ascend a portion of Carafen's like foothills in winter would be difficult. You can make whatever choice you want. I just want you to have the information. Mardina can do this for you.
At least give us enough so we can split the loot up.
Yeah, she can analyze magic on them to see what they do, essentially.
Okay.
Because that'll tell you without having to try to attune them. One of the many advantages of having Maya around. But she asked you how things went and stuff. She's chatting. She's been kind of like she's stayed in Aldature over the winter seasons and she's working on doing more research.
Oh, good.
It's harder because the library isn't as big. Just fewer leads to chase down, so she's doing more like thinking and talking to people and like trying to reason stuff out. Okay, for the first crystal, what do we get? Because these aren't prepped loot. 18 will be a okay. You get the active crystal.
It's an active one.
One of them is active. It is a spell strengthening crystal with a value of 3. So to explain that, for every magic point you use in a spell, this crystal will add 1 up to its limit in magic points.
That just helps you get through defenses, right?
It helps you get through defenses. That's what that one does. So it makes your spells more able to punch through shield and counter magic, and through wards, like your star wards, I think, kind of something. So the other one is a power storing crystal with the value of 6. That was a terrible roll. So 5 is about as bad as they naturally get. I rolled a 1 and a 2 on 2d6.
I don't
So
need
you have
the
a
other
6. Say what?
I could.
If you want one of them, speak up and take it. If you want both of them, speak up and take it, because I think that would make some sense for you to have this. If you wanted the spell strengthening crystal, I don't know if you have offensive spells.
No, I don't.
I mean, I could then, but I only use demoralize. Do we have a spell slinger in our group that really throws direct spells at people?
Honestly, not really. Looking at it, not really. They're random loot.
Should we just hold on to that one for now, or do you want to take it?
We can
do you want this? Do you want the spell storing crystal? Because honestly, I'm going to encourage still if you want to summon and stuff an elemental in it, that's kind of the ideal use for that.
And it's like a relatively small one, so it's less of a loss.
Yep. That's why I'm saying it. If it were like a higher one, I might suggest that we hand it off to Elendor, so Elendor has a little more magic point buff.
We'll stuff some gnomon.
Cool.
All right, so you're going to take the storm. Do you want both of them for now? Since you found both of them, do you want to just be in charge of them, even if you're not going to link the one?
Yeah,
okay.
I'll hold on to them. We'll figure it out.
Okay. So they're both yours. Money-wise, let's see.
Yeah, your party really is like really soft and having like disrupts and demoralizes and befuddles and things.
I do have a demoralize, which I took. I feel like maybe disrupt might be helpful at some point, but honestly, it's not as good as me shooting somebody with a bow, and the bow has more range. Has double
Honestly, the
range.
best place for disrupt is like for a non-combat character who can will use the rune. Like a Link or Mai can get a lot of use out of it because they can be like, oh, I'll just cast multi-spell 4 out of my otherwise useless rune points for combat, and then blast someone with a 4d3 disrupt to one hit location, like whenever I want to, and can invest in 2 points. So,
I mean, disrupt wouldn't be bad either, though. If you're a melee and you're not getting through somebody's armor, because you can disrupt them and defend yourself.
Yeah, it's just hard. It doesn't do a lot of damage.
Right.
Yeah, but no, it has uses. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, so right now, yeah, the spell strengthening crystals are very useful to you, but you have it. One thing I will suggest, we're probably not going to do it right now because it's going to take some time and stuff, is that if you have an active crystal and you don't like it, you could kind of put the word out that you're willing to do some swapping.
Yes.
Let's see. Hang on. What would you think if I split the loot 90 lunars each, and I still have Hillmill's 90 lunars of loot sitting in my pocket?
That's fine.
Is that fine with you? So that gives everybody 140.
Hooray!
Is that enough to get you by for a bit?
Hopefully.
And if I just go ahead and take 10% off, I'm good for...
Yeah, pay your tithes.
What's 140 minus 14? 126? And then I'm going to write it down for now, but I have 90 lunars Hillmill's portion.
Okay,
It
cool.
seems like the honorable thing to give him a cut of that.
Yep, makes sense. Cool. All right, so that kind of concludes that section of the adventure. You guys sort of paid things off. You still have like the horses and bodies of these other Orlanthi.
Yes.
You probably don't want to just hang on to them, even if you don't necessarily want to leave like right away. One thing you could do is take them. There's a large earth temple to Ernalda here. It has attached temples to many of the other earth goddesses. It has a shrine to Tyquor, right? And it would have an attendant god talker or priestess there. If you took them there, she would hold on to the bodies and look after them for now.
Yeah, let's... Actually, I'm going to go do there and get some advice from them too.
Okay.
Which is specifically about this. Say that I swore that I would return their bodies to be properly taken care of and look for a little bit of information about, okay, I know it's the big mountain and I know this. Realistically, is this something I probably need to do storm season or even sea season?
Right. Okay, so you'll go to the temple and tell them that you have bodies and stuff. They'll direct you to the shrine.
Yep.
What they'll actually do is like there's a shrine to Tyquor Tag. I keep wanting to say the K first.
Yeah.
There's also, if you look, there's an urn field on the map, like outside the city.
Yep.
That necropolis is really like her, like a minor temple to her.
Yep.
But the priestess is not usually there. She's usually at the Earth Temple. So you can visit her shrine. The priestess of Tyquor Tech here is a woman named Mayara. Surname's Mayaya. She's an older woman. She's as old as your older aunts, right? So she's in her 50s.
1 foot in the grave.
Yeah, she's really slipping. She is, even like now, when she's just at the temple, she's not carrying on services, like she's wearing black clothes, right? She has white, like a face paint on that's really obvious. It's not just like, oh, you look a little pale. It's like, this is white chalk paint over her face. She's wearing a shawl that hangs, it's black. It hangs down like over, kind of hiding her eyes or most of her face in shadow. She looks like she's dressed for mourning, which is pretty typical with her priestesses. She has like a cane or a stave, right, that she can walk with. And she has, hold on a sec. I can do this, probably. They don't actually tell you. She has priestesses, but they don't tell you what sort of things she gives you as an allied spirit. So I'm going to put the spirit in her shawl because I don't know where else to put it. So her mourning shawl is where her allied spirit lives. You wouldn't be able to see that, but she has one. So it's like a black cloth, right? It's nice, right? It's been like knit or something. Like it has like pattern, like these type patterns on it. It probably has some ornamentation, little earth and death runes like strung off of it, little silver beads or something, or copper beads or both. Probably copper with her runes on them. But anyways, she meets with you to kind of see what your basically, because you asked.
Yep.
So
Well,
so she
I
approaches you at her shrine, like she comes out of an alcove that she was sitting in, basically,
yep. Yep.
and it comes to meet you.
I tell her the story. These guys have been here with this on this quest the last several years with us. They've done their job. They were all killed, and I just felt it upon me to return them for an honorable, proper. I don't know if it's really a burial for Orlanthe, but um,
It
to where
depends.
to where they had been, which was they'd been at the Earthshaker Temple, but it didn't seem practical probably to take them there right now due to it being dark season. Tell them a bit of the story of why
Right.
I bothered to bring them here, but called upon that it seemed like they deserved an honorable death. And looking for an honorable death, I guess they had one.
Right. Honorable burial.
Burial. I'm
Okay.
trying to avoid the word burial because I don't think Orlanthe are buried, but
It depends. Urn
okay.
fields are pretty common, where bodies would be buried in urns. Cremation is also fairly common, but the urns would still be buried.
So, I'll say that and
it's
then
not
ask
uncommon.
for advice because I'm willing to take them, but I just seem like it's the middle of dark season. That doesn't
Right.
seem like the best idea right now.
And just for as a meta note,
Yep.
or something to keep in mind with your culture, we're doing a lot of
Yes.
culture stuff this episode.
That's cool.
The general metaphors that you would think of for death is that your soul would be returned, like your breath and your soul are pretty combined in Orlanthe mythos. So like when you die, your breath goes out of you and your soul leaves you as well. Your body is returned to the earth.
So they could be buried here and it wouldn't really matter.
It wouldn't. Yeah, I mean that's true. She'll ask some questions. She'll look over their bodies, right?
Yep.
As well. While she's doing that, I'm going to cut to Soinnarios real quick. Soinnarios, what are you doing while your cousin is at the Earth Temple? This is the big Earth Temple. It's the Earth Temple not for a tribe, not for a clan, but for the entire Confederation. It is larger than all the rest. It has more subcults. Say again?
We're gone.
Okay, so you're going. All right.
You could be leading this if you want.
Got it. Not poke around, but wander around and look at this temple. 'Cause even if I don't want to be a part of their hierarchy, because I'm a local girl, they still like a network. Drop that and at least make a connection here.
Okay, so how do you pursue that? Who do you reach out to? Or what do you go to a particular subculture shrine? Do you visit with a related goddess?
I would go to the Pelora area if there is one.
There would be a section dedicated to most of the grain goddesses, yeah. So they're grain goddesses are relatively accessible subcult that offer you like relatively unique benefits. They're not uncommon for people to initiate into as a way of kind of specializing in their own cult or rising a little faster or a little bit to the side. So there are shrines to all the grain goddesses kind of in a row with one another attached to the temple. So you could go there pretty easily. You can meet someone if you wanted to.
Yeah, see, there's a priestess or another initiate or something to connect with.
Yeah, that makes sense. There is an initiate there. What you gather pretty quickly is that usually, like and she'll tell you this actually if you're curious about it. You meet an initiate. She's about your age. She's from Aldature. I have to make up another name. Damn you.
Sorry.
No, it's cool. I've noticed, now that I've made up a lot of names, I've noticed that there are a few letters I tend to favor a lot for starting names off with. So I'm trying to avoid that. I've already done it once today, and I've only made up one name today. We're going to name her we'll name her Taedra. So Teydra. Doing my best here. She's about your age. She's initiated of Ronalda. She's initiated to one of the grand goddesses. Probably Pelora. We'll say Pelora. We'll go with that. That's what you're looking for. Barley is more common in the Vantaros and Princeros. They grow more barley, particularly Princeros. But she's from the city. She talks to you a little bit, introduces herself. She's kind of watching the shrine portion. Okay. So she's kind of watching the shrine portion. And like attending it, so she's like cleaning it and doing that sort of stuff. But she's there to talk to as well. So what do you do here? I suppose.
But I offer to help take care of it, even though it's a little different than the one we have back home.
Yeah, yours is like an outside statue in an enclosure. Hers is like an alcove, basically like a line of alcoves with different statues and paintings and stuff around them. These are similar to the Yolorna shrine that you guys saw at the Sun Temple a couple years ago. Like it's an alcove with a statue in it, and then like frescoes around it of like paintings and things depicting scenes, and then there's like space to leave stuff at the foot of the statue. Leave offerings, just stuff offerings.
Tell her some of the travels and the joys of motherhood, and as well as maybe compare beer recipes.
Nice. No, she'll laugh at that and compare notes on brewing. Is your brewing skill very good?
It's getting there.
Getting there. It's getting there.
It's not one of my worst skills. It's up to 49 raw, 64 with manipulation in.
That's not bad. That's not bad. You're fair hand at the brewing, so that's good. No, so you guys trade notes on that. She'll tell you like in conversation, like if you offer to help her, she'll let you. She'll do the more delicate work, right? But she'll let you do some of the more like simpler stuff, just because it's her responsibility. So she wants to make sure that anything that could go wrong is something that she handles. But she'll tell you like as you're talking about like she'll trade some notes. She'll talk to you about how it's harder to meet like most grain goddess god talkers, right? So people that you would call wise women of Pelora or of Isrola or whomever, they usually don't like they're not really usually tied to this temple, right? They usually are part of their clan, overseeing some specialty and managing shrines. Honestly, like you do, like that's usually how that works for their rune levels, their priestesses. But but obviously Ronaldo's temple. I mean, like the great temple of Ronaldo here will mean her major temple will has shrines so that anybody who worships one of them can come here and worship their goddess, like, and they're daughters of Ronaldo for the most part. So, like, she reserves a space in her house for her daughters,
as she would, and as an example for us for ours. I will invite Tadra if she ever wants to come out to my stead. If she actually, I don't know if she actually farms or not.
No, she lives in the city.
Yeah.
So she's like, if you were gonna think about it like this, she has the priestess background profession,
Yeah.
right? So she's not a priestess, she's an initiate, but she works at the temple, so she spends a lot of time, kind of like affixed to the temple, right? So she helps do rituals, she helps carry out ceremonies, do planning for like the big like festivals and things. Like she does that sort of thing professionally, which is the sort of life that large cities can support.
Yeah.
For a small number of people. No, she'd be interested in coming out to see the shrine that you've built. That would be neat, right? Like one
Quaint.
thing not quaint but interesting, but she's one thing you would know, right? And you're definitely picking it up really quickly, is that it's something you've always kind of known in the back of your head, but you're seeing it, is that unlike the Sun Temple, right? So like the Amelio Temple in town and the shrines that are associated, or even with unlike the Lorna Temple, Earth temples are all independent. So like this temple's big, right? It gets a lot of worshipers. It can support specialist subcults and stuff because it's tied to a large city that is also the center for all these tribes. But like your temple, the temple of your clan, is not the local parish essentially of this temple. It's its own thing. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So like she's interested in what you're doing because she doesn't know, right? I mean, she's never been to your clan. She's never seen your shrine. It's not uncommon for places to have their own secrets. It's not super common either, but like it's not that weird if like a clan temple or a tribal temple knew a story or had a bit of lore or a local subcult or a local spirit that is different from what another temple has. So she'd be interested just as part of like rounding out her understanding of things.
No, that'd be good.
Look at you, just making friends wherever you go.
Trying.
No, that's cool. Yeah, she'd be interested, and she'll talk to you for a while. If there's anything else you want to ask or know about, or
nothing specific.
Okay, so yeah, she's happy to chat while you two kind of work until that work is done. So she's actually attending all of the shrines, but she's initiated into Pelora, but she's cleaning all of the shrines to the different green goddesses today. It's kind of like her duties for the day.
Yeah,
cool. Go ahead and put a check in your. You didn't have to roll anything, but like you're spending time around other people, so put a check in your cult lore skill, your Arnaldo lore.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of checks.
We're doing a lot of culture stuff today, where you're just exposing yourself to new ideas and information, and like learning about your culture and like doing all that. So
we're becoming cultured.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's like a bacteria or like getting better.
Bit of both.
Yeah.
Okay, so that scene's happening. We'll cut back. Mayara has been looking over the bodies and kind of figuring out like what clans they were part of, what tribes they were part of before they were outlawed, right? To kind of figure out, she's trying to figure out what their burial customs should be,
Yeah.
just in case, like in case there's something that would, if she can't figure something out, she could make a ruling. If there's something that she can determine she'd prefer to. What she kind of tells you after looking around a bit is that they've, for the most part, they made a pretty spirited effort to tattoo over their clan tattoos as part of their outlawry. Like, and so it's hard to determine where they're from. But she does say you would know, and she can kind of figure out they were Tarshites. They're not from the far place, and they're not from Sarder. As such, she thinks that it's usually a safe bet. She will cremate the bodies.
Okay.
And she'll give you their urns. If you want to take the urns back with their effects, that would be
So would I take
respectable.
them still back to Carol Finn?
Yeah, that's where their allegiances
Okay.
were. That's where they were working from and living. So that would be the best place to take them. She will. I mean, she does tell you like you could leave them here. I will bury their urns. But if you want to take them to their home,
I would like to ask her.
Mhm.
I'd like, I guess, fill her out. But is it better? Would it be better to take them to? I did swear that I would take them back if
Right.
that's. But
it's
if
possible. Yeah.
if that makes, if one is a better option than the other, I don't mind taking the time to do it back. Plus, it gives a cool adventure to go to Carol Finn. But
Right. She'll tell you
Yeah.
same sort of thing. Like it's like Taikor Tech is the goddess of the dead. She's the queen of the underworld as far as the Orlanthi are concerned. She, like anywhere that's sacred to her is sacred to all dead. Anywhere that her dead are, she is also present. So if you were to leave them here, they would still return to the goddess in safety, and she can guarantee that. Though
In that
that's a
case.
paid service, but like casting spending room points on them is a paid service, but she can bless their graves and like 100% guarantee that they are personally escorted by a spirit to Taikor Tech. But outside of that, she does say that like that said, spirits rest easier at their homes, like in places they formed attachments to. If you were to return them, it isn't necessary by our customs and laws, but it would be looked well upon, right? Like it's something that would be. I'm trying to
Yeah.
out
I
of
got it.
character. It's
Yeah.
the sort of thing that gets you reputation because you're doing something cool that's above and beyond what you need to do for the benefit of others.
Well, in this case, that would be cool out of character, but honestly, it's because she feels compelled to, and she swore she would. So unless it's an even break, she's going to say, "Okay, when should I return and pick them up and take them?" But it doesn't make sense in sea season, like right after sacred time or something, or
Yeah, like at a better sea season is probably best, and she'll point that out that once she has done the funeral rites over them and like cremated their bodies, like you don't like moving them is fine.
Yep.
Like and part of all that, but like you don't have to worry about them like rising as ghosts or something. Like you're not
Right.
like so she can hold them at the urn field until they're
But-
ready to be taken home. So
But so we'll come back sea season and get them. And if is she able to hold, like we'll take their effects and gear back and stuff, if that makes any sense.
she
or
can
we
hold
can
on to
just
those
sell.
as well.
I don't know if that makes sense or not.
She'll hold on to things, but what she's going to hold on to is things like a sword, a helm, not everything they're wearing, right?
No, and if we'll try to like anything else that's this kind of stuff we could just basically pawn off so that we could use that money to help cover expenses.
Right. That would be a normal part of that. So
And
she'll take
I'll
some
help
of their,
with that, and if I need to, I'll kick in my own money to cover
well,
it.
they're carrying some money and things. They were still paid by the elves, like, and so that money will help.
And I
cover
brought
them
that
as well.
money here.
Right. So that would help cover it as well. Like, so you don't need to worry about the costs of things. Any money that's left over will be returned to the Earthshaker Temple.
Right.
But yeah, but she'll take the cost from there. But she's going to leave things like their elf beads, a weapon, something that's marked, like that looks like a favorite item, stuff like that.
Yep.
Like she's good at her job. She'll leave things that are emblematic of them and would respect their spirit. But
I think the other thing is their horses could be sold.
Yeah, or you
because
could
we don't.
you could keep them and give them to your clan because horses are always nice.
I could do that if that's okay and not violate anything. I'll take the horses back with me.
No, I mean it's the Earthshaker
Yep.
Temple doesn't have a lot of use for horses. They're not well known for their cavalry.
Okay, then we got 5 horses we'll take back too.
Yeah, remember an hour and a half ago when I thought we might get through the whole year?
We will.
We're gonna get through dark season.
Well, I don't know how much it has helping in storm season for us.
Depends on what we want to do at the tribal fair. But
Oh yeah. Let's get through dark.
right. Let's round out the scene, and then we'll. Is there anything else you guys, either of you, want to do with the Earth Temple?
No, I'm good. I feel like I've taken care of the stuff I have to.
Is there anything either of you need to do in the city?
I don't think so right now. Do you, Soinnarios?
Okay, then we will return. A couple days later, you will return back to Fieldstone. Yes, upon your coconuts. And there you go. So you will arrive back at Fieldstone. Obviously, once again, people are happy to see you. It is cold. It is snowy, right? Your little river is frozen over. People aren't like all out in the streets and whatnot as far as that goes. But like you get greeted and well received. People want to know what happened and stuff. But if you have somewhere else to be, you can extricate yourself. Like I'm sure Soinnarios, you're wanting to get home.
Yep.
Okay, so you'll be able to be like to do the bare minimum of like talk and stuff, and then kind of like be like I gotta get home to my many children and go and do that. So you'll be able to exit that pretty quickly and ride back to your stead. Once there, Baranth is there. There have been a couple of women who have been kind of helping out. One of them is there when you arrive, but she'll like hand off the kid to you and whatnot, and make her way out the door, and so you can reunite with your
Adventuring seems less stressful now.
right. You're like I just look after like 3 babies and 2 small children, meddlesome husband.
I've hides of barley.
Yeah, but your eldest child is old enough to be a little useful. Not much. That'll really be Baron's task, though. Over the next couple of years, Gelantor will be getting old enough to start learning how to work, basically. All right. So you can do that. You're back at your home. You can settle in as you please. You can describe this vignette or not as suits you.
Oh yeah, just take over and switch between the 3 season-old babies, basically, and try and care for them, keep them warm, keep them fed, and as well as everything else in the house.
Right. Yeah. Good times. A lot of work. Luckily, you're a noble, so you have some help from the other households.
Hooray!
Hooray. Cool. Okay, so you can settle in there. You are happy to be home, I would suspect. Kathea, what are you doing during this time? So you just got back. You're kind of telling your stories, what happened. Soinnarios has sort of stayed just long enough to be polite, and then had basically said I need to go check on my kids and left. So
That's fine. I can stay and tell the story and do the talking for the group. I don't have a family as such to get back to.
Righto. True story.
So I can sit here and orate.
Orate. Go ahead, go for it.
Can I boost that with something, please?
What do you want to boost it with?
Let's see. How about my devotion to Yolorna, since we went there? Either that or with my clan, since I'm talking to them.
I would use your loyalty clan here. You're
Okay.
drawing on that familiar connection.
All right. That sounds good.
They like you. You like them, so it helps.
All right. Cool. Hey, cool. Plus, I get a check.
Put a check in it.
Yay. I'm improving my connection with my clan, which is interesting since in many ways I'm becoming kind of separated from them. But I'm not. Yep. And that's enough boost that I actually succeeded because I have I just lost it. I have a 42 ore rate and I rolled a 47, but since I boosted by 20%.
It worked. Nice job. Okay.
So I tell them the whole story, and I do a decent job of telling it. I do try to emphasize how well all the clanmates do, or the clan members do. I am happy to explain how Hillmill, who he was, and his tragic story, because I think it'll make a great story.
It does.
Yeah, it does, as is, and I don't shirk away from the fact that it rests right on my shoulders. But I seem to have come to terms with that. Yeah, so tell them what happened, but make sure that our other clan members make it clear how I tried to watch them, but how our one clan member was struck down. But then Soinnarios, I also build up Soinnarios a lot for standing there. How awesome it was handling that great troll.
Trading blows with the great troll for most of the combat.
Yeah, coming. I mean, she's knee-high to the great troll and stood there just
taller than that. It's navel high. roughly.
It's
Right. I get you. I get you. No, people are impressed. It's a cool story. You tell it well. You can put a check in or eight. You can put a check in
okay.
your passion, but yeah, or your loyalty there.
Yep.
And no, it's all good. So people are suitably impressed. People think that's pretty cool. You know, it's one of those things where you've been doing this for a while now, so it's kind of like you go out and come back. This is what the fourth one. So
Yep.
it's been a major structure for your
Oh yeah.
guys' adulthood, really.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so it's kind of they've come to sort of look not for, but they're like
They're
this
aware
has
we're
been
doing
part of
it.
the structure. Yeah, so like it's sort of like you come back from your adventure, you tell us how it went. Like this is part of the rhythm of things. So well, that's cool.
But it's dangerous. I mean, last year we got somebody killed. This year we got somebody killed.
Yeah,
They don't know the one. Well, actually, probably a lot of them did know the one personally because lived right next door to our clan.
yeah, like the Mandarin aren't strangers to you by any means. So that's cool. Okay, so one thing that'll come out of this, again, reputation isn't like one of those instant on things, but
Right.
over time word spreads up. But you will both gain 2 points of reputation for this adventure.
Hooray.
Getting more famous.
Becoming. This one's just more of a.
Also, you guys might want to look into like the rules for using your reputation.
Oh, can we do stuff with it?
Yes, you can. There are a couple of things, right? It's not a sure thing. You can use it to augment charm, orate, or sing,
That makes sense.
or you can use it. You can also use it to augment an attempt to convince the examiners to advance you in a rune cult, right? And if you look on that's listed on page 241 of the core book. You can also look and see how your reputation modifiers work. Like if you're in the same clan, you add 25% to your reputation modifier. So it might be useful for like you definitely have a reputation that you could push. It's probably worth considering at times with your clan members in that 40s range. You know, it goes up to like 60s, 70 with the clan modifier. You have no modifier for your tribe. So among the Tov Tarosh, your reputation stands. You have a negative 25 for like the far place, basically,
We have negative 25. Why is that?
because it's further.
Oh,
Like basically, you get a
hence the
bonus
name.
for your. Well, no.
I'm joking.
Yeah, I get you. You get a bonus for clan, neutral for tribe. 25% penalty basically for confederation, basically. So outside of your tribe, but within the same homeland. Inside of Dragon Pass, like outside of your tribe, you would take a negative 50. So like in Tarsh, Sarder, unlikely to have heard of you, basically. So just those are the kind of the penalties that they assess. And if you leave Dragon Pass, it's a steep penalty. You have to be very well known. But again, reputation can exceed 100. It just keeps going up. So yeah, you are certainly the most prominent members of your clan. Not necessarily the most powerful members of your clan, but the most prominent. Really only competing with like your clan chief and Soinnarios' mother. And you are, rising luminaries in your tribe. You have a pretty good chance, 50-50-ish chance that someone in your tribe will recognize you by reputation alone.
That's good.
Yeah, it's not bad. And then about a 1 in 4 chance for anybody in far place to just know who you are.
That's not bad.
Those aren't bad. That's better than any of us have in
No.
real life.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So for the rest of dark season, as you guys kind of ease back into life during winter, for the rest of the winter and doing domestic things, more home type stuff, focused in on your personal lives, go ahead and pick out 4 skills to check, right, for your seasonal skills, and then go ahead and roll for those for the adventure and everything. So go ahead and take care of that. We got us through dark season. Well,
I have one more thing I might do during dark season, but go ahead.
No, go ahead and tell me what it is.
I'm just going to travel down to our neighbors.
Oh, to the Mandarin?
Yes.
Okay. So
if someone artist wants to go, she can, but if she doesn't want to, I'll just take care of it because I'm close by and I'll just ride down. And I'll probably seek out Chorustar.
Right. That's good. This is funny to me because it's something that would absolutely trip up your character if you weren't thinking about it, but it's going to trip you up right here.
Okay.
Once you talk to Chorustor, he tells you he will handle it because, and he kind of laughs because he knows exactly why you're doing what you're doing and exactly why you didn't catch it, but he gets his automatically. When Homil divorced his wife, she went back to her clan.
Yep.
Right. So he will try to find her. Like, he can figure out where she went because he knows. Everybody knows where her clan is from, and handle that.
Yep.
If that's what you want him to do.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm gonna hand him the 90 lunars and just let him know what happened. Yeah. Right. I didn't know. I figured she wasn't there, and I wasn't going to try to talk to her in person because she probably hates me. So, and fair enough. So I was going to ask him to take care of it.
Absolutely makes sense, yeah. So no, it was just kind of funny. Like, oh, he'll just go take it. It's like, well, Corsair doesn't really have any connections to her now either, but he's definitely a safer party.
Well, and I thought he's a good guy. I like Corsair.
I like Corsair.
I think I consider him one of my friends now for Kathea, though I think I probably outpaced him where he probably won't join us on adventures anymore. But
he was never the best fighter. He's initiated to Orland Thunderous anyways, so
yep. But I thought he was somebody safe. I could go there and say,
no, it makes sense. You're allowed to have friends. You guys can make friends.
I know.
It's cool. It's fine. I don't mind having an ever-growing cast of NPCs to keep track of.
We have a lot of them in this game.
There are a lot. I just found one in my notes, so I'd forgotten I had even named. So I was like, oh, cool. There he is.
All right. That's the only other thing I wanted to do.
Nope, that's cool. That makes perfect sense. You'll be able to travel off and do that. Corsair will figure it out. I mean, he knows the clan she came from. He has the ability to handle that.
And he can take some out of that 90 if he needs to pay for whatever expenses.
Yeah, and he can give, if he wants to, he could divvy some of that out to like the surviving kids who would still be part of his clan.
Yeah, that's what I was actually thinking.
So, yeah, it makes sense. So, it was funny to me because I was like, oh yeah, like your clan, the man leaves, like everyone else, the woman would leave. So, I just thought it was funny.
I got a rune question.
Absolutely.
Can my elemental runes go over 100%?
Yes.
Okay. So what's my chance of them increasing? Is it a 96 or higher? Because I don't have any kind of bonus or anything to add to it.
That's a good question. Let me look. Let me make sure my first question is right, because almost everything can go above 100, but runes might be the exception to that.
You do not have to check it right now because I didn't roll high enough for it to matter.
I still want to know though, and you guys should be rolling your rolls right now. So
I'm doing that. That's what I was asking that.
No worries.
It's becoming increasingly difficult to increase skills.
Yeah, you keep getting good at them.
My orate went up by 6%, which seems fair.
You cannot raise a rune over 100 by normal means because you don't get a bonus to the roll. So there's no way to. Basically, what you're supposed to do is like check your roll and then add your skills category modifier.
Yep.
There's no amount of modifiers, so you can't do that. There are ways to increase your rune above 100, but they involve like hero quests and things.
Fair enough.
So they can. The only runes that can't go above 100 are your opposed runes. They can only go as high as 99% and 1%.
Okay.
So like your death rune can only go to 99.
Wow, my spear went up. That's a surprise. Despite my spear and my bow went up.
Nice. It's good to be good at things.
The amount of times my bow's gone up in this game is kind of incredible for how skilled I've been through most of it. Otherwise, it's just my soft skills, which should go up.
Yeah, you guys have slightly exceeded. I mean, like, I'm not a mathematician, so I did a pretty naive, like, if it takes 10 times to roll it, you'll usually get it on the 10th roll type stuff. Like,
yeah,
because it's the average, it's 10 rolls average, So, but it was like, you guys have outpaced that curve a little bit. Not a lot. There was a time when I was like, I'm not sure you'll make it to rune level by the end of the game, and like you're both already qualified, and you still have 3 years left. So,
and then we picked 4 other skills that fit into our group, and then that we didn't check from the adventure.
Yes, Soinnarios, how's it going for you?
I surprisingly got my managed household up.
Nice.
You got what up?
Managed household, probably my highest skill.
The most important skill.
Yes, absolutely.
This is kind of it's related to managed household. There's a painting, like a wall painting of a woman holding like a tablet and a writing stick. And I think it's in Pompeii. Don't quote me on that, but it was preserved, right? Because the eruption actually preserved a lot of paints that would have otherwise have worn. And so for a long time, they called it like a painting. They called it like a painting of Sappho, right? Because it's a woman holding something to write with. So it's probably Sappho writing poetry, right? Like that's the image. And now they think it's just a woman keeping her household finances for a small business because she was proud of herself for running a business in a household. So she had someone make a painting of her, right, in her house doing her work. like of like keeping track of tallies and sums. And it's just kind of funny that like sense of like, oh, it must be a legendary writer. It's like, no, it's just a woman who was like a successful businesswoman, right? Like who was like, look at me, like I'm pretty cool, right? And it's like I just think it's funny that it's like I don't think it was necessarily that difficult of an answer to arrive at because it's not uncommon for the women of the household to keep track of the household labor and do those sums and things and manage the finances of the house, make purchases and things, and often businesses will run out of those households. So it's just funny. So yeah, manage household actually really important. What I'm saying is you should get a commission a painting of yourself holding a tattle.
Oh, nice.
Yes. You should. I agree. I don't have anything else. I did my skills.
How did you did well there? I take it. Did you guys do POW checks and stuff?
I didn't do POW checks, which I do have one coming.
Okay, make sure we do those. Those are important.
They are.
I'm told that players enjoy increasing their POW.
I rolled an 03 for my POW gain check, which is unfortunately still just 1.
Mhm.
Well, do we have a chance to regain rune points yet?
You wouldn't have yet, really, but they'll be reset by the next adventure. Why?
Okay, should I just go ahead and do that then?
Yeah, just go ahead and level them up back again. You'll go to various services and things and get those handled.
Because I'm going to go ahead and just drop that power straight into more rune points.
Okay, cool. Makes sense.
Since I don't need to take my power higher right now.
Right, we're not doing that. So just for the listeners, we built the cult before the Sky and Fire book came out, and we've been running under those assumptions. So I thought ultimately it's not really fair to be like, well, the canon version is out and it's harder. And part of that is because in RuneQuest 2, or maybe 3, you had to have POW 15 to become a Rune Lord. That was just part of the requirements. That's no longer true, but Yolorna's cult carried it through in the cult book. I don't think it should have, personally, so we're not going to do that.
It does look a lot like a copy and paste from RuneQuest 2, like a lot of the
Yeah, a lot of the material in the cult books is a straight copy paste plus additional information. But they didn't always do a good job of cleaning up the RuneQuest 2 copy carryover stuff. So it is what it is on that. But I would as on my GM soapbox, I would recommend ignoring it because it's the only cult that has that requirement, and it appears to just be a carryover from a previous edition.
No POW gain.
Alas, your POW's real good.
Yeah, your POW's hard to gain from, isn't it now?
It will get easier once you're a God Talker and you get that bonus, but it's always a little difficult.
On the other hand, your odds of being overcome by a shade and being fear shocked is 25% less than mine.
It's true. It's true.
Yes.
So we're gonna try to wrap this up pretty quickly here, because we're just over time, which is okay. So that's kind of dark season. Next storm season, okay, is gonna come up. Storm season is gonna be your tribal fair. We'll need to do that. If there's anything you guys want to accomplish at the tribal fair, figure that out so that you know what you want to do there. Whether that's just buying things or looking for stuff, or honestly, Soinnarios, the tribal fair is not a bad place to try and trade out that stone for a better crystal. It's a good starting place, right? Like if you can't do it there, it's aldature and waiting, basically. But there's going to be a lot of merchants there. The tribe will be there. Spells, crystals, like active crystals, are the sort of thing that clans have or champions have as part of their regalias. It's something that they might be willing to move around a little bit. This is the sort of thing where you're either going to be trading with a wealthy trader or with like a clan chief or a priestess or priest or a rune lord, right? To be like, I have this one, like I'll trade it for an equivalent one of a different kind that I like better or something. Like that's kind of it's difficult to sell, but trading it's not impossible. So that's something for you to do. Otherwise, kind of figure out what you want to do there. We'll do storm season and sacred time next time. I kind of figured it would go that way, but we had like a solid like 45 minutes of other stuff to do because of a random roll. So that ended up killing our ability to do storm season in a timely fashion. But that's okay. That's fine.
Is that because of us taking on the Orlanthe?
Basically, yeah. Like that being like, oh, I'll check a battle roll. Oh, they fumbled. Oh, they're all dead. Like, and then all the like everything that proceeded from there is like not planned. So, which is like half the session. So that's decent though. It's cool.
Yep.
Cool. Good times. We'll pick it up next time in storm season, and then we'll cut pretty quickly to the tribal fair. So until then, I guess that's it.
Okay.